Hello, welcome to Reiss of Sports. Today, we are taking a look at the top 15 Arsenal players with the highest wages for the 2023 to 2024 season. Stay tuned. Arsenal's wage bill for the 2023 to 2024 season is certainly on the bigger side. There are currently 5 players earning £200,000 and above per week, as well as 10 players earning £100,000 or more per week. The Gunners currently have an annual payroll of £167,596,000, with the average player earning around £119,370 per week. This is around a £30 million rise from the previous season, which stood at £133,016,000. So, what has caused this sudden rise in wages at the Emirates? Well, for starters, the signings of Declan Rice and Kai Havertz have definitely played a big part, as both men sit inside the club's top 3. Nicolas Pepe and Granit Xhaka were both on big wages and departed in the summer, but that doesn't seem to have had much of an impact after the club's summer splurge. With that being said, we have ranked the top 15 Arsenal players with the highest wages for the 2023 to 2024 season. At number 15 we have Reiss Nelson. He earns £100,000 per week. Nelson was on the outside looking in at Arsenal. He was shipped out on loan to Feyenoord in the 2021-22 campaign, and it seemed unlikely he would ever make the grade in Arsenal's first team. But Nelson decided to stay at Arsenal and fight for his place, and he has now carved out a role for himself in the side. The Englishman was rewarded with a 4-year deal this summer after a string of impressive performances off the bench in the 22-23 campaign. Number 14. Gabriel Jesus. He earns £100,000 per week. Gabriel established himself as one of the Premier League's best centre-backs during the 22-23 season. Arsenal fans will be relieved that the Brazilian signed a contract last year that will keep him at the club until 2027. Although he began the season behind Ben White in the pecking order at centre-back, the injury to Timber caused a reshuffle to the backline and Gabriel is back in the fold. He has continued to build on his formidable partnership with the Frenchman Saliba, with Arsenal so far conceding the fewest goals since the turn of the year in the Premier League. Number 13. Nketiah. He earns £100,000 per week. Nketiah signed a 5-year deal worth a cool £100,000 per week in the summer of 2022. The 24-year-old has hit the back of the net 38 times in 164 matches in a red shirt, including the 6 goals he has netted so far in the new season. While on paper these statistics may not seem impressive, the 24-year-old showed last season that he can play a pivotal role during the run-in. When Jesus picked up an injury, it was Nketiah who stepped up to lead the line for the North London club as they came ever so close to ending their league title drought. Number 12. Lino. He earns £110,000 per week. Arsenal swooped for Jorginho in January, with Etta hoping his experience would help Arsenal to their first Premier League title since 2004. The Italian was impressive when called upon. His experience in big moments will likely be incredibly important as Arsenal head into the final third of their season, with the midfielder having won both the Champions League and European Championships in recent years. Number 11. Ramsey. He earns £120,000 per week. Some football fans questioned Arsenal's decision to purchase Ramsdale in a £30 million move from Sheffield United in 2021. The Englishman has answered his critics in style and established himself as one of the league's top keepers. He was even pushing to become England's number 1. Now, the 25-year-old has been forced to take a backseat to David Raya. A recent mistake against Brentford didn't do himself any favours, despite making some brilliant saves in the aftermath. It appears that in order to get regular first-team football, the former Bournemouth man may need to be in search of pastures new. Number 10. Zinenko. He earns £150,000 per week. Zinenko made the move from Man City to Arsenal last summer and quickly established himself as a key player for the Gunners. A few injuries limited him to 33 appearances in his debut campaign with the club, and his absence was sorely missed. His form this season has not quite been at the same level as he has shown previously, but the Ukrainian remains a key member of Arsenal's first team in his role as inverted wing-back. Number 9. Ben White. He earns £150,000 per week. With a brand new bumper contract, White has further ensured that he remains a key part of Mikel Arteta's plans moving forward. The versatile defender may cause controversy due to his unwillingness to represent his country, but that hasn't prevented him from putting in consistent performances for the league leaders throughout his time at the club. With plenty more years left in the tank, it is highly likely that White will be a cornerstone of Arsenal's defence for many seasons to come. Number 8. Gabriel Martinelli. He earns £180,000 per week. Martinelli committed his future to the club in February 2023 as he signed a new deal with the club until 2027. The Brazilian enjoyed a phenomenal 2022-23 campaign where he scored 16 times and recorded 6 assists in 45 matches. He now makes up one-third of a frightening Arsenal front line for Premier League defences, who have continued to grow from strength to strength in the 2023-24 season. With 13 goal contributions this season, the young attacker will be looking to add to this as he looks to help push his side over the line this time around. Number 7. William Saliba. He earns £190,000 per week. Saliba's sensational campaign was cut short by a season-ending back injury in March. Arsenal's form dipped after the Frenchman was ruled out, which is a testament to just how important he is to the side. The Gunners were desperate to tie him down to a long-term contract this summer, and they managed to do just that, with Saliba extending his stay at the club until 2027. Now back to his best, Saliba is the focal part of a defensive unit that has been near unbeatable this season. In 2024, the Gunners have conceded just 4 league goals, one of which could easily have been prevented if not for an Aaron Ramsdale horror show. Number 6. Bukayo Saka. He earns £195,000 per week. Saka continues to go from strength to strength. The 22-year-old directly contributed to 26 goals in 48 appearances for Arsenal in the 22-23 season. Saka joined Arsenal at the age of 7, and he will be at the club for many more years to come, having signed a 4-year deal earlier this summer. Since putting pen to paper on his new contract, Saka has not let up and continues to lead his team in front of goal. With 31 goal contributions in 37 games, the winger is likely to be a prominent figure for England this summer as well as for his boyhood club for the remainder of the season. Number 5. Thomas Partey. He earns £200,000 per week. Partey was superb for Arsenal at the start of the 22-23 campaign, but his performances dipped as the season went on. The signing of Reiss could potentially spell the end for Partey in a long-term sense, but the Ghanaian did start the season in a new right-back role before picking up an injury. Number 4. Martin Odegaard. He earns £200,000 per week. Odegaard was one of the standout performers in the Premier League in the 22-23 season and has been rewarded as such with the new deal. The captain has not only shown his quality among his teammates but also in the Premier League as a whole. With leadership qualities underpinning his remarkable talent, the Norwegian has developed into the caliber of player many believed he would when he burst onto the scene as a teenager. Surprisingly, though, there are still 3 Arsenal players who are paid more than him, with 2 being new signings brought in over the summer. The skipper never seems to let Arsenal down and is still at such a young age that he will likely be a key figure for the best part of the next decade in the Gunners' side. Number 3. Declan Rice. He earns £250,000 per week. Rice was earning £60,000 per week at West Ham, per Capology. He has quadrupled his wages, having signed a 5-year deal at the Emirates last summer. Arsenal shelled out a lot of money to sign the destructive midfielder, but he has proved to be worth every penny. Not only has Rice continued to show the defensive discipline that made so many interested in him, he has further evolved his game. Now with even more composure on the ball and a knack for scoring goals, managing 6 in his first season, the former Hammer is more than comfortable in his new home. Number 2. Gabriel Jesus. He earns £265,000 per week. Jesus' debut season at Arsenal was impressive but hampered by injury. He suffered a serious knee injury during the World Cup, a problem that sidelined him for 4 months. In total, he scored 11 times in 33 matches. His lack of availability proved costly, as Arteta's men missed his dynamic play up top. The script has been much the same this time around, with injuries and a lack of a killer instinct hampering the 26-year-old. Thankfully, Arsenal added more depth to their squad, with their highest-paid player often filling in the role that Jesus tends to leave when absent. Number 1. Kai Havertz. He earns £280,000 per week. It was a slow start to life at Arsenal for the German international, who struggled to impress at Chelsea before his big-money move across the city. Despite that, Arteta showed faith in the 24-year-old and is beginning to reap the rewards. Having scored just 4 goals heading into February, Havertz has now doubled his tally in the competition, having hit a purple patch at just the right time. Arsenal fans will be praying that this isn't just a short spell of good form and is rather indicative of a more productive end to the season, which could propel the Gunners to Premier League glory. So, there you have it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Until next time, this is Reiss of Sports. Thanks for watching.